The All About Nothing podcast may have content and language that isn't appropriate for some. Listener discretion is advised. Recorded live from GOT Sound Studio in Lexington, South Carolina. This is the All About Nothing podcast with Barrett Grubber, Zach King, and Trent Clark.
All right, welcome to the All About Nothing podcast. I am Barrett Gruber, joined by Zach King over there. This is Trent Clark, despite the fact that if you're watching us on YouTube, we did obscure his face.
It's me, I'm audio.
Your requests have been answered, and so we have done as you asked.
We're not going to show his face anymore. Please quit tweeting us.
He is, yeah, okay, so he is obscured. We are joined by James Amick. We are going to get in why he's here in just a minute. So please subscribe to the show, share the show where you can. That's how we get new listeners. Also, please consider supporting us financially by visiting theallaboutnothing.com and becoming an official member and proudly calling yourself a true nothinger. We have a bunch of membership tiers available that give you early access to exclusive content as well. Also, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts you think are worth it, go ahead and give us a review and drop us 5 stars. And if you're not on Apple Podcasts, give us a review where you can. Share the episode with your family or friends and follow us on Twitter at AAN_pod and on Facebook.
I like Facebook. Can we get that?
All about nothing.
Can we get that?
Yeah, clip it. Follow us on those and interact. And also, you can search for us on the All About Nothing podcast or visit our website for links, theallaboutnothing.com. And with that out of the way,
to Facebook.
Yeah, we're going to open up Facebook. Real quick announcements. This Friday, so this episode drops on October 30th, day before Halloween. This coming Friday, November 4th, is the West Columbia's 6th annual Fallback Festival. Music on stage, 76 and Sunny, Prettier Than Matt, food and beverages from State Street Pub, Wico Beer Garden, Bottle and Beer Garden, The Hideout in Wico, D's Wings, Cafe Strudel, bunch of different places. Also vendors including Ed's Edition Bookstore, Spot 31, State Street Trading Company, West Point Coins, all of that. Links to the Fallback Festival are in the show notes, so go check that out. Also, your New Brooklyn Tavern update for Monday, October 30th. So tonight, the episode drops. Tonight, the first show. Open jam and open mic night with Sam and Ilea Band. Wednesday, November 1st.
Well, I already have something to say. The band Prettier Than Matt. What did Matt ever do to you guys? Same thing with Better Than Ezra.
Well, he wasn't.
Yeah,
Is there a bunch of Ezras out there? Less than Jake.
Yeah.
What makes Jake so great?
Matt wasn't Matthew. That's what his problem was.
I don't
Is that
understand.
what it was?
Yep.
Wednesday, November 1st, Liam St. John with Joshua Quimby. Thursday, November 2nd, Joshua Ray Walker and What Is It Even Tour with Jay Turley. Saturday, November 4th, a tribute to Squirrel with special guest Helvis and Damn the Sun.
Helvis, damn good name.
Yeah. Sunday, November 5th, Boundaries, Your Spirit Dies, Black Slide.
You would.
Candescent's back on Sunday, November 5th. And I know we're all good on our knowledge of what's coming up at the end of December, but we'll go ahead.
Second show was planned.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm going to.
Friday.
Did
December,
we get our tickets yet?
Friday, December.
We have, man.
What do you mean? What? You said we? We had what? What did you say?
I'm not buying you tickets to a show.
What?
Okay, so anyway, Friday, December 29th, Sequoia Prep Band at the old New Brooklyn Tavern. Then the next night, a second show added, December 30th, second show at the new Brooklyn Tavern, Sequoia Prep Band. So the first show...
What's the new
Sequoia
location?
Prep School.
Sequoia Prep School. Yeah, whatever.
What's the new location?
The new location is...
The Cotton Gin.
The Cotton Gin is 632 Hardin Street. So you can visit newbrooklyntavern.com
Where is
for
that
details.
at? Where is that at, Trent?
It's a place that I said I would never go.
It's in 5 Points.
I said I would never go to that bar called the Cotton Gin.
It's not called the Cotton Gin anymore.
Well, thank God,
All right.
because whoever had that name,
Is it New Brooklyn Tavern now?
it needs to be.
I don't know what the name is going to be. I assume it's just going to be New Brooklyn Tavern. But it's...
Well, thanks to Trent, they're going to have to put on that marquee. We're not racist. Cotton's just cotton.
Okay. So
I wear polyester.
Visit newbrooklyn.tavern.com for details and tickets to shows and more events to come. There you go. Quick shout out, Free Times, for the Free Times Halloween party. I know that it hasn't happened by the time that this recording is going on, or that we're doing this.
It has happened.
But special thanks to Tate White, Lindsay Conine of the Post and Courier Columbia Free Times for allowing us, and I assume there had to have been like a vote with the group, but allowing
And then they
us.
seen my face and it was like, oh yeah, let them guys get through.
Oh,
Scary as fuck.
yeah.
Gabrielle and I will be winning at least one of the costume contests.
You think so?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, next week we'll report back on that.
Trent got a glimpse of it. I don't think I told him what it was for. But
Yeah, but Zach, oh man, I don't know. Zach might as well just do something else.
There's a lot of ego, by the way, James,
Gabrielle-
on this side of the table. You get that
Gabrielle's
feeling?
Gabrielle's suit is gonna kill Zach, so I don't even know. I already know. So it might be like a split decision. Gab might win. And Zach
no, we're
might not.
together.
No, it's not together, man. You know,
It's a couple's costume. So you're the horse's ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
vote for you on that one.
You guys are funny as fuck. Yeah.
Okay.
No wonder we won Best of Cologne. Save the jokes for me, Barrett.
this is a great ad
And
for the free
Trent's
time.
already saving the looks for me.
Okay. So we're gonna move on then.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do. Well, thank you very much, Free Times, for involving us and letting us be a sponsor.
Did your
of this
mom write
event.
that on a popsicle for you?
Which one?
The horse's ass thing?
No, I just assumed if you were coming in a couple's costume that Gabrielle would be the front and you would be the end.
Oh, maybe we're both horses' asses. A
That's-
two-assed horse.
Would that be cat dog? then?
Somebody,
Because how did cat
I
dog
don't know.
shit?
I don't know if that'd be
How did cat dog shit?
somebody,
That is
somebody,
the question.
somebody cut that.
down the middle of the belly button.
Somebody cut that
Hell no.
of Zach acknowledging that he and his wife are both going to be the
Oh
horse's
yeah, that's
ass.
going viral. We're clipping that.
Okay, clip that. All right.
Do your thing, internet.
All right. So this episode drops on Monday, October 30th, today, which is 5 days from now, I guess.
Yep.
It's a few days from now.
Yep.
So recognizing that is the apex, I guess, of the Halloween haunting season. And in respect to that, we wanted to enlighten our listeners with the efforts of investigating and documenting the paranormal. So our guest this week is an investigator with the South Carolina Paranormal Research and Investigations Group. It's a group of experienced paranormal investigators based here in South Carolina, has more than 5,000 likes and follows across all of Facebook. Some of the recent investigations, including the Veteran of Foreign Wars Post 3034 in Sumter, also Lake Shawnee, the abandoned amusement park in Rock, West Virginia. Welcome to the show, James Amick. Welcome, James.
Welcome, James.
Nice to be here.
Yeah,
Thank
we're-
you for inviting me.
No, absolutely. We're glad you could be here. As a as someone who has investigated before,
Yeah, this is right down Bears Lane.
it really is. So I know we were talking before the show, but listeners didn't get to hear it. So how long have you been involved with the South Carolina Paranormal Research and Investigations Group?
Yeah, so I got started a little less than 2 years ago. It's been almost 2 years now. I'd say maybe a little less.
Yeah.
Got started, my sister, of course, shared the post to me, said, hey, they're looking for investigators. We should be a team, sign up together.
Yeah.
I signed up without her, got the spot. She didn't.
That's a flex you can always carry around.
That's like whenever you and your
Christmas.
friend plan to call the radio station, but you don't want to get through to get the tickets.
Just sneaking
I'm
in.
your +1, bro.
What happened? I don't know.
Exactly.
So with this organization, how do you all typically wind up, I guess, booking investigations, that sort of thing?
Or do people call you?
So basically how it works is people call, we have business cards and people can reach it out to us at our website, scprai.org. So we are a 501c nonprofit.
Oh, okay.
So that means we do not charge for our investigations. They're free. Okay.
Nice.
So if somebody wants to reach out to us, they can contact our dispatcher, contact us. They send us an email giving us a list of the investigations that are going to happen that Saturday. Our investigations happen on Saturday. And we each choose, hey, I want to sign up for this investigation. And then we'll go out, and it's usually a team or three or four, depending on how big the house is.
Yeah.
And we'll basically walk through with the client, with the lead investigator, and figure out where the hot spots are. And basically we go in with the goal to figure out, okay, is the house really haunted? And if it is haunted, is the ghost a concern? Is it harming the family, or is it okay?
Sure. Yeah. If there's
How do you determine what the hotspots are? Is it like just the layman's way to put it? Does everyone get the creeps like in a certain area, or feels colder, as I've heard before? Or
So basically, a lot of our, I guess when our clients come, they figure out basically, hey, this is where we're getting shadows in the hallway. You know, children are getting shoved in their bedroom, don't want to sleep in the bedroom. There's cold spots in the kitchen, stuff like that.
Okay.
so there's a pre-interview that you all do with the clients.
With
that
the
makes
client
sense.
to
Okay.
figure out where the most activity is happening, because
Yeah.
that's going to let us know where to put our equipment to have the best outcome of our investigation.
Yeah. And you go ahead, Trent.
Has somebody called you, just trying to play around, be like, hey, can you check my house out? And they never thought it was nothing there, but then y'all came and was like, yo, it's really something here, and you really should be a little worried.
You know, I'm pretty sure we do get the occasional prankster who puts speakers in their wall and then calls us up, says, hey, my house is haunted. I hear thumping at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But I can't really say for sure because I haven't been an investigator for a long time.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure we've had something like that happen.
So-
hook to their Bluetooth and ruin it for them. Bohemian Rhapsody's playing out the wall now. What do you think of that?
So one of the reasons that I reached out to the South Carolina Paranormal Research and Investigations Group was because this episode being the day before Halloween drops, we were going to assign ourselves research to find like stories and lore in South Carolina or historical information that led to things like what the Lizard Man or what's the guy that supposedly used to walk around in the underground of underneath USC.
So that would be the Third Eye Man of USC.
Yeah.
So.
That's just Trent.
I got a third eye for USC.
Another one that comes to mind is just all of the deaths and everything that occurred at the state hospital over on Bull Street.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of history behind that.
And all the slavery.
Yeah, in Charleston.
Yeah.
Well, down here too, I'm sure.
We're talking
I mean,
about
but-
Midlands area. So.
But yeah, so any stories or anything that you know of as far as South Carolina, Midlands, that sort of thing?
So I know a lot of ghost stories around South Carolina.
Okay.
But since this podcast is only an hour long, I'll keep it short.
Yeah, give us about 2 or 3 of them, man. You know what I'm saying? 2
So-
good 3 stories.
The most common stories I know of are, of course, one, the Third Eye Man of USC. The second one is these are all in the Midlands. Second one, of course, is if y'all have ever heard of the ghost white lady of Newberry.
The Opera House?
No,
No.
not the Opera House.
Okay.
Newberry College.
Oh, okay.
So there's a story, and it's somewhat true. So over the years, people have kind of skewed the story a little bit.
Yeah.
But
The Bible had that problem too.
Thank you, Trent. It did.
Good, right? That was a good one.
basically, people see a white lady who basically in a white dress.
Okay.
Y'all are going to have to edit some of this.
No, you're good.
No,
you're good.
we leave it all in.
Yeah, we're gonna leave it. We're good. Come
Mostly
on.
because mostly the guy on my right is wearing a mask that's muffling his voice, so it sounds like this when he's talking.
Okay.
Yep.
Basically, the
Don't touch
story
me.
goes her husband thought she was cheating on her.
As they do. As they
Mm.
do.
Probably. That might have been the story. But he went to the bell tower and jumped off,
Oh.
committed suicide.
Damn.
And at night, while looking for him, stumbled across his body with a lamp.
And that part did happen. Like at least he killed himself.
That is what we do know historical records. The other part that's been skewed is kind of, some stories say he was from the Civil War, but the thing is, this was long after the Civil War ended. So
Gotcha.
that story obviously wasn't true.
Gotcha. So what is the origin of the three-eyed man running around under USC?
Okay, so the story of the Third Eye Man basically dates back to 1940s.
Okay.
He's running around going, wait till next year, wait till next year. Sorry, I had to burn my own team on that one.
Yeah. That was a good one, man.
So, basically, the story 1940s was when it all happened. A couple of students were heading back to their dorm rooms, and we're passing through the corner of Green Street and Sumter Street.
Okay.
And saw this man dressed all in silver opening up a manhole cover in the middle of the street and going down into the sewers.
Interesting.
What?
So, fast forward a couple of years later, a campus police officer was doing rounds at night, came around back of the Long Street Theater and found a bunch of chicken parts strewn about campus, just chicken guts and all that, feathers. You know, figured it'd probably be a prank from Clemson students who snuck on campus, or just sorority guys, or fraternity, not sorority.
Yeah.
My apologies.
We got you.
You can tell when it's a Clemson prank though involving chickens because their buttholes are turned inside out.
Yeah, and then you can't tell the sorority from the fraternity.
Yeah, Bear. Don't start with. Don't you want to start with Georgia Tech? You want to start?
Oh, we'll be good to finish 4 wins this season.
Us two.
To continue.
Went back to his car to write a report about it.
Yeah.
Came back and saw a tall silver man eating the chicken parts.
What?
And police officer was so freaked out because it was back then. A police officer now would probably just pull his gun out. And
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It was just a dude. Apparently.
He's got that right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the bath salts guy in Florida. He's bath salts guy is eating somebody's face.
3 o'clock in the morning, dude's eating chicken bones.
Got to put him down.
Going down.
Came back when backup arrived, and the man was gone.
Man.
And so it's just legend of the Third Eye Man is.
But did he have 3 eyes?
So in the report the police officer made, he did say that part of the report was he had a disfigured face and there was a third eye.
So his eye could have just moved, maybe, right? Like
disfigured. He just winked at the officer.
Yeah,
How you
from
doing,
the top.
sir?
So fast, upside down.
You know
wings.
what I'm saying?
Blinks out.
I'm completely distracted by the mask.
Don't be act
Look,
normal, Bear.
it's
The mask looks good on
Thanks,
It does.
man.
It
Appreciate it.
does.
Thank you, man. I think that's why Bear's just hating. It's mask behind you. You can join. You can join.
Look, people are going to be whatever with my face anyway.
Yeah,
so
yes.
People pay us to see my face.
Is
it's
that
not remotely
is that
true.
is that in the comments?
It's not.
Oh, okay.
Not even once. The reverse might be true.
Oh, okay.
So, what as far as like investigations that you've participated in with the group, what is one of the most recent ones where you all actually documented some sort of paranormal experience or something like that?
Yeah, so I can't give
Sure.
details about personal houses.
Yeah, don't tell us where. Just yeah.
The most recent one I went on was our recent team trip to the abandoned amusement park.
Oh, okay. So you were there.
Yeah, Lake Shawnee Abandoned Amusement Park in West Virginia.
Yeah.
We went there as a team trip. Wonderful place. Very spooky at night. I love it. And we got some pretty good evidence there.
Yeah.
So one of our pieces of evidence was we were at the playground and we were talking, and apparently it's called a K2. This thing.
Yep.
There we go.
Just
He's
measures.
got some devices here, guys.
Got some devices here. I've also got some down here.
I don't even
our
want to touch
personal
them, to be
staff.
honest.
Yeah, this is so the K2 basically is just an EMF reader, and it's a very simple device. So basically, if it senses or if it recognizes or whatever the receiver inside recognizes electrostatic field or electromagnetic fields or whatever, then
So
essentially
do it around this.
So yeah, if there's I guarantee you put it up against that light or here. See if I put it here. Well, see it's kind of lighting up a little bit. But the whole idea is that it will pick up on electromagnetic fields, and this is actually a legitimate tool that electricians will use when trying to find a short. So that's a legitimate tool. That this is the what do they call this one? The
So
Mel meter.
That's a Mel meter. So that's kind of a triple thread is what I would call it. It reads temperature, EMF, so it does what this does as well. So EMF, it'll read temperatures. Some of them will read like barometric pressure and all this other stuff. These devices can get really, really fancy, and as I found out, really, really expensive.
Yeah. This is true.
Okay, so as far as like, can we get some prices on these three that you have in front of us?
Well,
This thing, you can buy these on Amazon
Yeah.
for probably like $40-$50.
Okay.
yeah.
This is gonna run you easily around $150.
Yeah.
On
Okay.
Amazon.
I probably spent too much money on these two things.
Oh, okay.
And there's actually
And what's that?
so that is a ghost box.
Yeah.
So like it says S box for static box.
Is it like the spirit boxes where it's supposed to talk to you?
Well, yeah. So essentially, if I can remember how to turn this thing on,
Should be a
It's got an
power button.
antenna too.
there we go.
There we go.
Oh, my battery might be a little low. But as soon as what you do is you hit it, and basically it scans through radio stations for white noise, and the speed at which it scans through, if for some reason you get some sort of a voice, and it not necessarily just a radio, but it goes through multiple changes in the whatever. I used to work in radio.
Kind of like a White Noise, that movie with what's his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can switch it over so that it goes to AM, and of course there's fewer signals in AM. But
Oh, did you hear that? Who's that jackass in the red mask?
but that's generally the idea of that. And
And the
It's
ghost
your mama's
box.
new boyfriend.
There's an official
Shout out to your
website
uncle.
you can go on to buy this stuff called
Yeah.
Ghost Stop.
Yep.
I don't know if any of y'all have heard of that before.
No.
You haven't? Okay. You're the odd ones out.
I've been
Yeah. He's been on that. He's actually subscribed.
Yeah, he's on the mailing list.
I am on the mailing list. I am on the mailing list.
They just opened a place in Virginia, I think.
Oh, like a
Oh yeah,
store.
Barron loves Virginia.
Yeah, a physical store they have in Virginia. So I think it's in Virginia. Don't quote me on that. Which is weird because I follow them on Instagram. Should know a thing like that.
Have you ever had a experience doing these investigations that just scared the shit out of you? That you were at least like, I don't feel comfortable anymore?
Not really.
Okay.
So
Because you said you kind of enjoy it, right? You
I kind of enjoy the spooky. Both me and my sister and all of us, we all got into this because we enjoy spooky.
Yeah.
We're the first ones to go down the dark alleyway at night
Yeah,
to
yeah.
figure out what's at the other side.
Oh, so you're who the movie be casting.
I'd be the first one to die.
Correct, correct.
Like, let's go down this spooky hallway.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
not.
I'll walk in
Yeah.
front.
Famous last words. What's that?
So with the investigation that you all did in West Virginia at the abandoned park, and I apologize, I interrupted
Oh,
you.
no,
but
you're good.
but what was it that happened in the playground area?
So we were using our EMF meter, and I got on top of the jungle gym
Okay.
area, which got on top. I put this on top, kind of laid it like that,
Yeah.
and we started asking some questions, and all of our questions were this thing would light up
Yeah.
every time we asked a question. Most of our questions are going to be general yes/no questions. They're
Right.
simple to ask. We don't want to ask open-ended questions because that's going to make it harder.
Yeah.
Can't really form sentences like that. So,
Yeah, no, that's true. And sitting on top of a
so it was like a little igloo
yeah.
jungle gym thing. So
Was there a lot of people that died at that part?
So there are recorded 3 people from the amusement park that died. There was the first one was a little girl was on the spinning swings. I still forget the name of the thing. I'll call it the spinning swing set.
Yeah.
I understand what you're talking about.
Park.
That's the one that's
So-
most terrifying for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, especially
Because they
back
only
then.
had that little thing there.
Yeah, it's just
It's
that
still
little-
like that in
It's
the
just
fair.
that little metal bar.
I just left it. My son wrote the same thing, and it's built the same exact way. Nothing's changed.
Some things. This was back before amusement parks actually had regulations. on
Yeah, OSHA
And
shut
so-
this one down. Yeah. No.
Well, the thing is, this park had 3 deaths. After the 3rd death, it died, just like Action Park in New Jersey.
Right.
After
yeah.
the 3 deaths. It's always after 3 deaths, they're like, okay, that's enough deaths. Close down the park.
It's not fun anymore.
We've hit our quota.
Yeah, insurance is like, yeah, we're pulling out.
So a little girl died on the swings.
The story goes, she was on the swing, she was spinning around on the swing, and a delivery truck was coming in, and it was backing up, and when he was backed up, the swing came around, and the girl smacked
Oh,
in the
my
back of
God.
the truck
Oh, that's brutal.
and killed her.
Thanks,
and said
FedEx.
that was
How you knew it was FedEx? They can't catch a break like that.
I don't think FedEx existed back
Yeah,
then.
like what? It's almost some
No. Thanks, Wells Fargo, because
Yeah,
Wells
that was
Fargo
Wells
was
Fargo. That was
they
the
were
bank.
they were the delivery group back then.
They've been murdering people for years.
The 2 other deaths were, of course, drownings. So
Oh.
they had a swimming hole and a pond, man-made pond, and there were 2 victims who had unfortunately drowned.
Goodness.
It's crazy.
But that is not the only death. So the entire amusement park, the guy who bought it, it's called Lake Shawnee for a reason. It used to belong to the Shawnee Indian tribe. Well, when he bought the park, he found out later that it was an Indian burial ground.
Oh,
So they found,
Classic.
I think
Shit.
the end result was like 3,000 Shawnee Indians buried on the property. When
I'm
he
trying to
built
build
the
a
park.
Ferris wheel. There's bones.
That's messed
That's
up.
exactly what happened.
I know.
The one other guy building the torta wheel or whatever was just over there going like, I got bones over here.
there absolutely needs to be a movie about the Shawnee amusement park.
That
They
would be
should be.
crazy.
It would be an interesting horror movie. I would
Yeah.
love to watch it.
Yeah. Well, okay. So as far as in the Midlands, and we'll take a break in a second, but as far as in the Midlands, besides the third-eyed man and I guess I know. So I guess what I'm trying to get to, one of the stories that I had heard, and I don't have any evidence to back it up, but so I mentioned that we did an investigation at the Town Theater, which at the time, and I think it's still true, the Town Theater was the longest running community theater in the entire country. It basically from early 1900 all the way up until now, the present, it's always had something going on. I'm not sure if during COVID they did, but I imagine that COVID would be sort of the asterisk.
Yeah, I think they stopped doing some things during COVID.
Yeah.
Probably did a lot of online stuff.
Yeah.
Not really sure about that.
One of the stories about why, so that theater also has the girl in white, and the story behind that particular girl in white was that before the building became a theater, it was a delegation or a home that was set aside by the Dutch embassy or something like that for delegates when they or ambassadors, whatever, when they would come to Colombia. It was set up by the Dutch for diplomats. Thank you, diplomat. So it was set up for diplomats to visit. Apparently, there was a fire in the house, and in the fire, all of the family except for one escaped, and it was a French family that was staying in the Dutch house, and the girl.
Man, I'm scared.
Apparently, right before she apparently was running out, the roof gave way, and this is the story. The roof gave way, and a beam from the second floor, the third floor, or whatever, came through and drove her into the basement. She died. She didn't make it.
That's crazy. Both of y'all just laughed at that.
It caved her head in, not drive her ass into the basement.
But that's what I'm trying to point out is the story behind some of this lore. I think over time gets so exaggerated with how to set up the events.
Spine like a 10-penny nail.
But essentially, but what happened there, what we actually documented was we did document a whisper voice. We never actually documented any video or anything of a girl in white inside the theater area, which would have been the foyer of the home.
You would wanted to see that girl in white, right?
You know,
Like you was there for that.
Show us your boob.
Again, I'm a skeptic, but I would like to die. I would like to be it proven for me.
Is that the reason why you keep hunting though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially
You keep hunting just to make yourself see something.
to document it.
Basically, we keep hunting because we see it. Well, it's very rare you see something or something happens.
Correct.
But that one moment you see, it's like, man, I would love to see that again. I'd love for it to happen again.
Yeah.
And so you keep chasing that.
So what was your one thing that you seen that you like?
Well,
Okay, I got it.
we had a mortician in here, and apparently that joint is popping, like
Yeah.
all the time.
The funeral home.
Full of dead bodies. So
He's like, well,
Have y'all
yeah.
done one? Have y'all done one? Because he was in here telling us that
Oh yeah, he was saying thoughts.
everything.
People was coming in. He thought was coming in, but nobody
like
was really coming
that's
in.
the place, right?
We got to get these two together.
That's not where they died, but that's where. I mean, they may be lingering over their bodies, if anything. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure we've done an investigation in a mortuary.
Yeah.
They probably don't get a lot of. They probably don't want people to be there, right?
I would imagine.
It would scare their customers away.
Kind of like there are dead bodies here. It's a little. I don't know.
It's supposed to happen, right?
Yeah.
Like we do burn bodies. Probably some leftovers.
Back away. I'm scanning this shit.
There's some leftovers here.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll come back after the break, and hopefully we'll get Trent to take the mask off.
You'll never get me to take the mask off. It's me, Amadio.
Then we're gonna super glue it to his face.
So we'll be back with James Amick here from the South Carolina Paranormal Research and Investigations Group. Just real quick, if you have any experiences or you all want an investigation, and the group is here to assist. Phone number is 864-923-3170. You can email them scprai2007@gmail.com, or again, you can visit their website, scprai.org. Is that I didn't write that one down. We'll put the show note. It'll all be in the show notes, so you can get access to it there and contact them if you need assistance. So we'll be back right after the break with James, Zach, Trent, and I here on the All About Nothing podcast.
Hey, this is Bex, or Not Quite a Wallflower on Instagram and TikTok, saying hi to you from Scotland. And you're listening to Barrett, Zach and Trent on the All About Nothing podcast.
All right, welcome back to the All About Nothing podcast. Barrett Kruber, Trent Clark, Zach King. We're joined by James Amick of South Carolina Paranormal Research and Investigations. So, James, again, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. And,
Nice to be here.
And also appreciation to the group for setting this up, because I think that if it weren't for that group, we potentially would have had to make up or find stories on our own. So
You just had to scribble something on a sheet of paper, I guess, and
Yeah.
carry on.
yeah.
Yeah, we were gonna go down conspiracy theories and just go crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, I was going to tell. So I'll just tell it real briefly. But there's a story. There is a Methodist church in Colombia that actually has the body of an orphan buried underneath it, and you can actually go and see this.
So,
On purpose?
Yeah,
I don't know if they'll let you go down there. I cannot guarantee that they will let you go down there. Don't talk to the pastor about it. So that story is true.
yeah.
I forgot her name.
Oh,
Darn it.
if you talk about it.
You Google it. I'll talk about it.
Her name's probably Emily.
Um,
Sarah.
So basically, what happened was when they were renovating the church, they had a graveyard, obviously, because it's so old. Bodies everywhere. Well, they called the families to, hey, we're relocating the bodies. Come get your people. We're relocating them to Elmwood Cemetery. All the bodies, or most of them, were relocated to Elmwood Cemetery in Columbia.
Yeah.
Well, there's one or two graves. One of them was what is known as a Fisk casket.
Mm-hmm.
So this casket is very special because it was designed before embalming was created or was popular. There were forms of embalming, but it was more in Europe, so it wasn't very popular in the U.S. Well, this casket was to seal the body from oxygen, basically just seal it up to preserve it for identification later. And in the top of the casket was a glass pane you could look in and see the person's face.
And that shit is still there. Pass that.
Yeah, it's still there.
And it's a kid.
No, well,
this is not a kid. She
she's
died.
28.
She was 30 years old when she died.
When you
And what's her name?
you called her an orphan.
Did you find out her name?
I don't know the story about her being an orphan. I don't think that was true.
Yeah.
But
It just makes the story sound better.
I think in this
Yes.
case it was just because it was an unclaimed body.
This is like a thing that was reserved for popes and shit. Like the one cathedral has like a bishop or a cardinal or a pope or something.
I don't think it was reserved primarily for popes. Because they found people like that, these same caskets in New York. When renovating buildings, they'll pull up a floorboard and see the person's face, like, oh, who's that?
Oh, the person who finds that is not okay for the rest of their life.
Oh, yeah, no, they're in therapy. Imagine pulling up a floorboard and seeing somebody's natural face in a
name?
casket. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, Saw happened. That looks like a diver's helmet that she's like concealed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, her name it's under the Washington Street United Methodist Church, and her name is Sophia Catherine Nance.
Sophia, that was her name. Okay.
It says she was aged 28 years, 6 months and 14 days. Died 24th January 1853. So yeah.
COVID 1853.
They're not sure how she died, so a solid myth is they couldn't find her in census records, which
That might have led to the orphan tag or something.
Yeah.
Stranger.
It's hard to be
Probably.
a 28-year-old orphan. At that point, you really got to be taking care of yourself.
Well,
I
that makes
figure.
sense though, because you, like you said, they made that kind of casket for people who weren't identifiable to come see. So she might have.
So maybe her family could eventually
Yeah,
go,
she
that is
could have
her.
been derelict or something, and that's crazy though.
yeah, they're not sure how she died. That's one of the things. I'm thinking it's either from yellow fever, or some other problem.
It makes you wonder that, because that looks like that's much more expensive than the average
Average
casket.
casket.
Oh yeah,
Probably.
these caskets were designed for people who could afford them. You know, if you were poor, you got put in a pauper's grave or a whisker casket.
Yeah, and
working-
Oh, apropos of that weird kind of thing, you know, the girl you do CPR on, the face was after the drowned girl that they had for a while that they found in
Really?
France. Yeah. So the face they use for CPR dummies is that girl's face.
Oh yeah, I found that
really?
out too. Yep. You are right.
I thought it was BS, and then IFL put it on, and I was like, "This is for real, for real."
That's
And
creepy.
it's yeah. So like, I've taken that course. I'm like, I didn't know I was going mouth to mouth with like a death mask, basically.
So she lies beneath Washington Street United Methodist Church, and according to this, it says that you can't actually go down there anymore because a crack actually appeared in the glass. They think
J.B.
possibly, possibly from a child tapping on it, as it was not uncommon for children to go down there. But essentially, in order to get there, you had to get on your hands and knees, and you had to traverse past other tombstones that are actually underneath the church.
I'm out.
Yeah, this is
Imagine being a child and being like, "Let's go see the dead lady under the
Right?
church while
Yes.
the
Well, that sounds like some kids would do.
Yeah, that's the kid you make friends with in school.
That's
Listen,
the one.
you're really
That's the
weird.
ones that found
kid.
Georgie.
Georgie. Yeah.
Hey, Georgie. Oh, the one who stayed there
Yeah.
and talked.
Yeah.
Georgie, yeah. Hey, Georgie. You're like, God, the kid who talked to the clown in the sewer.
So
He deserved it.
Yeah, coming.
you're from, you said Aiken?
I'm from Aiken area
Aiken
originally.
area.
I moved to Columbia.
Okay. So, but you guys being from the Ballantine, Chapin, Little Mountain area, this is one. It's called the shape-shifting Daniel Coon of Dutch Fork, apparently. So,
I know some coons.
okay. The most,
The last name.
the most famous,
There are.
the most famous magician in the Dutch Fork, Central South Carolina, was Daniel Coon. We speak of him in our earlier post. Apparently, this is an ongoing blog post. But being born in 1810, Daniel Coon would have been too old to have been drafted for the Confederacy. Yet one day, Confederate soldiers found bloodhounds, began trailing him to force him into service after refusing to enlist, saying that it was against his principles. Now, being a wizard, as he claimed to be.
The Coons were a wizard at one point in time?
Fuck, the dog's still biting.
That's how he got out of the army.
Yeah, he would have been able to live his life looking much younger than he actually was, and may explain why he was popularly known as Little Daniel, also being targeted for enrollment by the military. So Little Daniel, and also let me see, he was with a friend at the time. The bloodhounds came after him, his companion, and they said they must both stand still. The hounds began whining and backtracking after seeing that there were two men that were now just a pile of dead pine tree branches. So apparently he was able to appear to be a bunch of pine tree shavings or whatnot. He was able to trick the bloodhounds into this.
Some people say they still see him in his Chevy 2500 doing the Carolina squat at midnight.
Shut the fuck up.
That's the most ridiculous shit. Like Little Daniel, wizard boy, done the boy who lived.
All right, so what stories have you heard, Zachariah?
Nothing. My
Nothing?
No.
Is that what you used to do in high school?
The creepiest stuff I saw at like 2 a.m. was a drunk lady in a ditch. Like the only ghost story I have where I was like, that's weird. Who else would it have been? It was like 2:00 in the morning, and what the way our house was built is my brother's room was over here, my room was over here. We had a great room right here upstairs, and then there was a Jack and Jill bathroom between the two, and between that there's a stairway that goes downstairs. It was closed off with a door, but it was like literally I'm just gaming at like 2:00 in the morning when I was like 16, 17. And I hear the drawers in the bathroom. I know what they sound like because I could hear my brother in there just closing and opening them loud as shit. But somebody was in there going bam, bam, just slamming the drawers closed. No. And I was like, well, I'm going to go in there and beat Hunter's ass. It's 2:00 in the morning. So I grab a drumstick and I'm ready to go in there like, dude, what are you doing? Like just whack him with the drumstick a couple times. I open my door and my brother has something to hit me with for doing the exact same thing. He goes, that wasn't you. I was like, no, I was ready to go clobber you for being an idiot at 2:00 in the morning to wake mom and dad up. And he goes, it wasn't me. We opened the door, turn the light on. One drawer is fully open. Some stuff's on the ground. The other one's kind of cockeyed open. And he goes, that wasn't me. And I was like, it wasn't me. I was like, we literally came out of our rooms at the same time and saw.
Where was your sister at?
My sister lived
with Trent.
My sister, dude, probably at that time. Who knows? But like at my sister wasn't there. Everyone was asleep, and I asked the next morning. I asked my mom and dad. I was like, "You weren't in your bathroom like slamming drawers or anything?" Because I was above them. I would have heard it.
Yeah,
it was that room.
Shit.
What did my sister come up there and start slamming drawers, pissed off for some reason, and run back downstairs? Possibility, but that's the only one that I truly cannot explain.
But she would have had to come out through one of your rooms because it was a Jack and Jane.
No, bathroom. My sister was downstairs.
Right, but the bathroom that you all heard the sounds coming from was the one between you and Hunter.
She had to come upstairs, open that door, go into our bathroom.
Oh, so there were 3 doors to that bathroom. Was there a door in your bedroom?
Out of the house.
No, dude, no. There's so me and Hunter's doors open to the great room. And you had to be in the great room to get into the bathroom.
Okay.
So yeah, no, I asked all of them. They're like, no, we were all asleep like normal people. You nerds were up, and like that's the only weird one. Like they said they didn't do it, and I was like, well, someone was slamming drawers. Hunter heard it too. We were ready to go kill each other because we thought it was each other. Yeah, that's the only one. Even before we built that house, it was owned by a guy who diddled kids, apparently, and blew. He didn't kill anybody. As far as we know, nobody died there, but he did diddle kids and blew up his house when the authorities found out that he did that.
We now call them pedophiles.
Exactly.
Back in Zach's day, they called them diddlers.
Yeah.
No, I can tell you.
Well, I mean, I didn't want to be like there was a pedo there, but it's exactly what it was. I mean,
yeah. Well, I can tell you. So, growing up, the house that we lived in the longest when I was a kid was off of Henderson Mill Road on Henderson Mill Court, which is.
And y'all got that right after the Civil War ended.
Right. Sure. So it was a house that was built back in the 1970s. and it was a nice house. It was a 3-story. It had an in-law suite in the basement, which we completely set up for my grandfather who was living with us at the time. Okay, so the story goes, and it's not my story, it's my sister's story, and my mother's story. But essentially, my sister was having a party or a sleepover with a bunch of other girls, and they had made plans to go down the street to toilet paper Mike, I can't remember his last name.
Those bitches.
Kowalski. It was Kowalski. So he was they were gonna go down the street
Dickhead thing to do.
toilet paper the Kowalski's house.
Asshole thing to do.
My sister tells the story that they got as far as about halfway in front of the house when they heard a voice coming from the upstairs study saying, "Girls, come back inside." And what they said they saw, and again, I'm
Barrett in the bathroom.
What I'm giving you a story.
He's like, come back. I want to see y'all undress again.
You should pillow
I want to
fight.
see y'all undress again.
This is a secondhand story, but what they told us is that they saw a person in the study on the second floor calling them to come back. So they all came back in and were up, and they went to my parents' bedroom and woke my parents up because all of them were around their bed. And so my mother and father woke up and said, is there somebody missing? What's wrong?
They were just standing there just holding toilet paper.
Yeah, they were all, yeah. But they confessed that they were going down to the Kowalskis and they were going to toilet paper the house, but they came back because they were told to come back. And the only people the only girls that would speak in it was my sister and another girl. I think the name was Becky Waldorf. But
that's a hell of a name.
Well,
Becky.
look, yeah,
Waldorf.
I think it was.
That's the name of like hotels and stuff.
But that's not the only thing that's ever happened. So my brother and I used to sleep in the same room on bunk beds, and at one point he swore, like, I woke up to the sound of something hitting the floor, like something went thump.
Another diddler.
So when I woke up, I immediately snapped at him and was like, "What are you doing?" He said the top was just flying. It was hovering in air.
What?
It was a spinning top that was just spinning in air, and then it dropped. And the it hitting the ground is what woke me up. Now my brother still swears that he didn't do anything, he didn't drop anything, that this was spinning on its own.
Some people just die with the lie. You know that, right?
Oh, well, I'm wondering, like,
he's not dead yet.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying.
I
Like, some people are not going to say.
I couldn't do that with like a
something.
comforter and normal, but ghosts are like, fucking look.
Yeah.
Look what I can do.
The other weird thing that happened in that house was that we had a couple parakeets that I was watching for an ex-girlfriend.
Can't trust birds.
Yeah,
Man, you
parakeets.
had
Hold on.
parakeets?
Parakeets.
I can't take you seriously in this mask.
I can't take these stories serious. Parakeets, Waldorf.
My ex-girlfriend, when she went away to college, she went to University of Georgia. When she went away to college, she asked if I would take care of her birds. I didn't say no, so we had her birds.
You've always been a nice.
Just like I
person,
didn't say
man.
no to getting a cat today.
Yeah, so we were watching her birds, and we kept them in the same corner of the house that was just where they stayed. And one day came downstairs, both birds dead.
What?
And then it was like 6 months later, we had hamsters. That same corner, 2 hamsters just dead.
Really?
It was. I attribute it possibly to like a methane or a radon leak. Radon.
So what did you tell the girl when she came back to get her birds?
Her birds died.
But
Were you in this house alone?
No. It was me, my brother, and my mother.
Did they sue y'all for those birds being dead?
No,
Did somebody
you were the bird
sleepwalk
watcher.
and strangle him?
no. They just.
I'm never gonna leave my dog with you over a weekend.
Just don't leave them in the corner.
That corner is deadly.
But I was like, listen, I don't
even
even put
live there
this.
anymore.
Your kid was in the corner, and
Yeah, that was yeah. So, but ultimately, I lived in a house that the claims are that there was a spirit. My grandfather, before he passed away, he talked about seeing his wife, my grandmother, that passed away. I don't know, 20 years before that.
my grandmother, before she passed away, she always woke up and thought she was working in a job she had like 45 years ago.
Oh, really?
That's dementia.
That's exactly. It was Alzheimer's. Yeah, we went in there and she was like, "Well, I told Henry I'd be back at the office." I'm like, "Grandma."
Henry's not looking for you.
Even my dad, before he died, he'd be like, "You got my car, right?" And I'm like, "You don't drive." No.
Yeah. So any experiences on your end of things like that?
My first ghost experience was actually the Old City Jail in Charleston.
Oh, very
So,
cool. I've been there.
I did a couple overnight investigations, did the ghost tours, all that. So this was in Lavinia's room.
Oh, yeah, Lavinia Fisher.
I was with a couple of guys. They had cameras, K2 meter. They had the K2 meter on the floor, and they put a rose on the floor. Now, we didn't, along with EVP. So we use this to record electronic voice phenomena.
Yeah.
Basically, voices you can't hear, but they show up. Well, they had a rose, but they weren't getting anything. I walked up after a while, and I was like, I'm going to take your rose. I went, picked up the rose, left the room. The moment I left the room, the EMF device started going off.
Oh.
And it started answering all of our questions.
Oh.
Up until the point I put the rose back. I was like, okay, I'll give you your rose. Put the rose back. Silence. For
Yeah.
That's strange.
Lavinia Fisher, by the way, she and her husband were the first. She was the first female serial killer in the United States. She and her husband, as the stories are told, she and her husband owned a hotel, I guess, or a bed and breakfast or something that was just outside of Charleston, right?
So they owned, back in the day, you had mile houses.
Right.
So every mile, back in horse-drawn carriage days, you'd have a house, you'd feed your horse and go to sleep. They owned 6 Mile House, so about 6 miles outside of Charleston, which is, the actual location of it is near where Charleston's Naval Hospital stood. So basically the story was they were America's first serial killers. Honestly, really, there's parts of the story that got skewed. They weren't really known as the first serial killers. The highest crime they got was highway robbery, which back then was a capital offense. You shoplifted from Dollar General, you got hung.
Yeah.
Or you robbed Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
You robbed Wells Fargo, you got shot on sight. You know, shoplifting, they'd give you a couple of days in jail and then hang you. But yeah, the highest crime they had was basically highway robbery.
Yeah.
And for Lavinia, she threw a guy through a window.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they did find one body on the property, but I don't think they were able to
Gotcha.
actually line it up with the Fishers.
Yeah, because if you watched whether you watch Ghost Hunters with the Taps group or you watch Ghost Adventures with Ghost Adventures with Zach Bagans and them, they did the Charleston Old City Jail, and the story that they told of Lavinia's hanging was that before she was hung, that apparently she said she announced to the crowd that was about to watch her get hung, and she said, if there's anything that anyone has to say, and I'm paraphrasing, but if there's anything that anyone has, if you have a message you want me to relay to the devil, tell me now because I'm about to see him.
Tell him I said,
according to the story, she then jumped off of the platform and broke her neck in the hanging. Was the story that was told.
So that story actually is accurate.
Okay.
So she did say those words. So back then, hangings were a public thing.
Yeah.
So you could,
we know.
you could buy tickets to see someone get their head chopped off. Back then, people sit on the roofs, wave, wave flags around, go executioner, yay.
Sharpen your axe.
But yeah, that was a crazy one. So we did the city jail, Old City Jail in Charleston as well. We just did the tour, and I'll admit I don't think anything creepy happened or anything like that. But we were with a group of about 30 other people, so it was a very large group that we went to do it with. But it was a cool experience, and they definitely told us that for a nominal fee you could basically rent. Or you could experience an overnight in the location.
Did y'all ever do the pirate jail
The pirate jail?
in Charleston where they held Blackbeard?
Oh, the Provost Dungeon?
Yeah.
I don't think we've done that one yet.
That'd be crazy.
So just as a reminder, the Old City Jail in Charleston is open to pack up for tours. They have announced that, so Bulldog is continuing with their tours.
Yeah, that's the same. That's the same organization that does the carriage rides and whatnot through Charleston as well.
Wonderful place. Shout out to Bulldog Tours in Charleston. Have you ever done anything at USS Yorktown?
I have actually.
I stayed the night on the Yorktown.
I was gonna say, as a Boy Scout, we stayed the night on the Yorktown a couple times. And they told us, I'm gonna mess this up, but I do remember them telling us of apparitions that have been seen in the galley. That from time to time people would report that they saw soldiers, of Navy men. Walking through the galley or walking into a bulkhead or something like that.
They're called seamen, Barrett.
Seamen, naval officers, naval enlisted seamen. Sorry,
Were you one of the Boy Scouts that saw the lights in the water?
No, I never actually saw that.
Lights in the water.
I never saw that.
Those are UFOs.
In the water? I guess they can swim now.
Apparently they can.
We have reached that echelon of because the sky is so obvious now that we do have UAPs apparently that
what
will
if they go down
themselves.
Like, yeah.
We wouldn't know.
USOs.
We would never know.
Submerged objects.
But yeah, the Yorktown was pretty cool.
I was just in Greenville and they had a Greenville tour. I was pretty close to downtown at the residency, and I seen like a tour of people like doing like a ghost town.
Oh, they have a walking. You see, that's the thing. Columbia had a ghost walk tour, but I haven't been able to find any details on it because I did it once. And they aren't necessarily always about the ghosts. They were more about telling some of the history behind what then led to ghost stories and things like that.
I did that in Savannah. I did their ghost tour, and I was like,
yeah, Columbia. I don't know if they did it this year. They used to do like a walking tour through Elmwood Cemetery.
Yeah.
I don't think they did it this year.
Yeah.
Columbia is not known for ghosts. There's another popular ghost I wanted to talk. I don't really believe in it, but Hitchhiker of Gervais Street Bridge, if any of y'all have
I've heard of that, yeah.
No, I haven't heard of that. Tell us.
Apparently, and I don't know the official story because, again, it would be very hard to do an investigation on the Gervais Street Bridge.
Yeah, of course.
Traffic. You know, at night it turns into a drag strip.
Yep.
Basically, the story goes it changes from a girl to a guy, but somebody got hit and killed on the Gervais Street Bridge, and people have claimed to see somebody walking across the bridge and, thumb a ride, and by the time you get to the other side of the bridge to the Black Rooster restaurant on the other side, the person would have disappeared.
Yeah.
There's
actually like a couple hitchhiker legends like that pass around too.
Yeah.
It's a
They
very
all
old
originate.
bridge, and you gotta know how to drive on that bridge.
Oh yeah,
if
there's
you-
no passing on that bridge.
Yeah. If you're right beside a big truck or a bus, oh yeah, like when that lane merges, just slow down.
Yeah, Old State Road, which is basically was the original highway that went from Greenville all the way down to Charleston. Old State Road, where it goes through Casey, it used to pass the Carolina Eastman Kodak chemical plant. It used to be that road went all the way from Casey to 77.
Yeah.
So but it has since the 2015 floods, they've actually just closed it, and as soon as you get past the Carolina Eastman, there are barriers. You cannot drive past that anymore.
You can drive past the barriers. It would take a pretty strong truck, but I'm pretty sure you get past them.
Well,
Sounds like a job for Chevy Tahoe.
Well, basically what happened is that City of Casey and state troopers basically didn't want to have to be on that road anymore, because mostly what it was being used for was drug drop-offs and things like that. But there's a story about where the train tracks, where it crosses the train tracks closer to the interstate, and I've heard this story from other locations as well, but apparently there was a bus that stopped on the train tracks and couldn't start, and it was full of kids, and a train came along and hit the bus. Now, there's no documentation of this incident occurring. It's only folklore that this happened. But if you stopped your car on the road on top of the railroad tracks, that if you just left your car idling or in neutral, that your car would eventually push itself off of the railroad tracks. And if you came out and looked on the back, you would see fingerprints of the children that supposedly got hit by this train. I know.
It's always
I've heard that. I've heard that.
This is the best AAA ever.
But I think I heard it in another place, though.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think it happens everywhere.
All right, so we leave the element on the tracks.
Yeah, not doing
check
that.
it out.
It's easily debunked. I mean, and I'd hate to debunk it like this, but you stick your car in neutral and you're on a hill, your car's done. It may not look like a hill, but you're going downhill.
Right.
Yeah.
With your car in neutral.
Yeah.
Look at Isaac Newton figured that one out, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Apple.
Have you heard of Crybaby Bridge?
I've heard of a lot of crybaby bridges.
The one in Anderson.
Yeah, that's the original one.
Yep.
That's the only one there was.
Because it says here that the original bridge was built in 1919 in Virginia, and then it was originally placed in Charleston in 1952. Then was moved. Excuse me. In 1919, it was built in Virginia, and then it was placed in Charleston, and then in 1952, it was moved to Anderson, where it stayed till 1987.
Why would you move a bridge?
I'm
That's what I said.
same thing.
Here's the thing, though. The London Bridge, or the Tower Bridge, that was moved from London. It was purchased by some millionaire and literally shipped brick by brick across the Atlantic, where it then is now in Arizona. And it's actually, it is now.
But that's a pretty famous.
Sure.
We're talking about like a normal everyday.
Yeah, like
Why are they trying to save this bridge?
bridge ISIS before road kind of bridge.
But that was what I was gonna say is that there are historic bridges that are like a covered bridge or something like that. That when a city decides or a town decides or a state decides they're going to replace that bridge, they will put those things up for auction for someone to buy it.
Somebody
and
said,
then
like, maybe we could sell the bridge.
That's what they do. They sell it. They'll sell it piece by piece.
Someone buy Gervais Street Bridge and widen it. Or
Yeah, let's
all
put
that
selling.
construction they're doing, you would think they would widen the bridge first, right?
I don't know what they're doing on the river. Does anybody know what they're actually
It
doing
looks
on the
like
river?
they keep pumping water out
Out of the
certain
thing.
spots.
Yeah, they've created like a they've
I thought they
created.
was trying to create like a little water hole, maybe. Like
I
I thought they were
swimming hole.
making a new park.
I
Now,
did too.
There's rumors about a bridge they're building over the river.
Didn't South Carolina buy all that land down there?
What I thought they were gonna do was they were
You buy
gonna.
that was like a national
Yeah.
park, right? You can't buy that.
Well, that part's not the national park.
I think the state bought it.
Oh,
The university bought like
because I think Ed Venture owned
Downtown,
it. I think
basically.
that was all part of Ed Venture.
I don't know. I don't care. They're not selling that bridge.
All right. Look, I think this has been extremely interesting, and James, I want to thank you for being here with us because
Yes, thank you.
James.
if you guys ever need anybody to accompany you on these investigations, you have my number, and I'll get Zach on that.
Yeah, I'll be the guy going, this is horse shit. Are we really?
I think you would participate.
I would
absolutely.
absolutely be an objective participant.
Yeah. So if you have any need of getting in touch with the South Carolina Paranormal Research and Investigation Group, you can either phone them 864-923-3170. You can email them scprai2007@gmail.com, or you can find them on Facebook /scprai. James, thank you very much again for being on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for
Appreciate-
letting me come on and ruin your podcast.
No,
man,
no,
you
no,
did not
please,
ruin
no.
anything. Trent did.
Absolutely.
Exactly this guy's face
Trent took it to a new level. So that is
every year.
That is going to do it for episode number 179. We are inching our way closer to 200. Thank you very much, guys, for being here. Thank you again, James, for being on the show with us. Links to all of our past episodes, podcast platforms, merchandise, and social media are available on our website, theallaboutnothing.com. If you think the financial module of giving away free content and entertainment is silly and you're in the giving mood, why not become an official Nothinger and support the show? Visit theallaboutnothing.com and click on the link support near the top of the webpage. You can subscribe monthly at a varying level of tiers, as well as the Trent tier, which is a $100 a month tier that gives you access to Trent for 1 day a month.
So if y'all want to bring me out there for $100, I'll hunt some ghosts
Wow.
for $100.
It's $100 a month. Don't do it.
The smell.
Why
alone
would
will
you
scare
tell him to
them.
not do it, man?
Because they're a
Why are you hating on us? That's not how you sell me.
They're a non-profit
I gotta
organization.
sell myself.
All right. If you'd like to join the conversation, you can also join our Discord channel by clicking on the banner on our webpage. Please subscribe to the show, like and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and share us with your family and friends. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Happy Halloween. You all stay safe and
Keep your hands to yourself.
The All About Nothing podcast is produced and engineered by me, Barrett Gruber, and recorded at the podcast studio at GOT Sound Studio in Lexington, South Carolina. GOT Sound Studio is owned and operated by Neek the Geek. Visit gotsoundstudio.com for details on studio rental, production, and engineering. Thanks to Cake for our intro music, Sick of You. You can follow everything Cake the Band at cakemusic.com. Thanks to Muff the Producer for our outro music. You can follow Muff on Instagram at Muff the Producer. Thanks to Trent Clark, aka DJ Lonzo. Join him weekly at the venue in Columbia, South Carolina for the Saturday All-Star Drag Brunch and Sundays at the Review Drag Brunch. You can also contact Trent for all your entertainment needs. Trent at theallaboutnothing.com and on Instagram at TheRealDJLonzo. You can also phone him, 803-262-7982. Thanks to Zach King. You can follow him on Instagram at KingZach07 and on Twitter at CarolinaKing21. I am Barrett Gruber. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Barrett Gruber or visit my Linktree /Barrett Gruber. Want to support the show? Visit our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com, and become a member. There are several tiers available, including memberships that give you early access to episodes as well as exclusive content. Visit theallaboutnothing.com. To find links to our social media, merchandise, and past episodes, visit theallaboutnothing.com. If you'd like to be heard on the show, you can call and leave us a message. Dial 803-672-0533. If the time between these episodes is more than you can handle, check out our partner podcast. Zach and I host What the Pod Was That with Carrie Simmons. Visit whatthepodwasthat.com for links and details. Me takes a deep dive down the rabbit hole in episodes of Welcome to Wonderland, available on all the podcast platforms. Visit WTWLpod.com for details. Check out DJ Lonzo's Top 5, available on all of the podcast platforms. As well, you can listen to the political and social conversation between Dr. Jamela Brooks and Bill Kimmler on Black, White, and Blue in the South, available wherever you listen to podcasts. Please subscribe and share this show. If you're on YouTube, please like and hit the notification bell. Thank you for listening. The preceding podcast is a product of Big Media and copyright 2023, all rights reserved.